All right, what is up, YouTube? In this video, if you couldn't already tell by the title, we're going to be creating AI graphics using ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you exactly, the prompt structure that we use to create really good images when we don't have professional models or we can't pay studios to come up with very quick and cost-effective graphics that we can use, again, for our advertising, for our product website, our product images, etc. I'm gonna do my best not to stretch this out and just to get straight to the point, because this has been an incredibly helpful integration into our product page workflow, so that all of our products, we have kind of superior images and graphics, and that gives us just a competitive advantage when it comes to our advertising and our ability to convert that traffic on our website. So without further ado, let me first hop into this quick document that I prepared. So we're gonna be using this product, which you've probably seen if you have done any type of product research on Calidata, or you've checked out TikTok, or you've scrolled TikTok at all in the last year, and it's called Yerba Magic. So it's got nootropics, and all of the creators have been using marketing angles around weight loss and as an alternative to Ozempic, and it helps you with your focus and all of these other cool things. So if I wanted to create a brand where I wanted to use this product foundationally, because it's not a branded product, it's very easily sourceable and accessible from manufacturers in China, then here is exactly what I would do. So what I first did was I went into ChatGPT, and before I do anything in ChatGPT, I actually ask for it to ask me questions regarding how it would recommend producing the best prompt, right? It's kind of like going to your teacher right before you have an exam and you're like, hey, professor, what are those things that I should be prioritizing when I'm studying? Because they already know the answers on the test. But if you just go that extra step and say, hey, I care, I want to do well, and what things should I be looking at more than others? They'll tell you, right? So in this case, ChatGPT is telling us, hey, here's what information you could provide to me to create the most effective prompt possible to get these images, right? So it basically said, here's an example of a template. Here's what it would look like filled out for an example product, right? For a skincare serum. And then here are some additional things that you could basically share with me to get more information so that they can make the best images and graphics possible. So basically all that I did was I shared a couple of graphics around the product that I found from the Calidata listing and also from other competitor sites. And then as you can see, I asked it to create a high resolution image with an individual holding it outdoors, and I tried getting specific on the product benefits so that they can kind of have it in an environment or an atmosphere that best resembles, that just vibes well and matches with kind of the product design. And then as you could see, what I like to do at the end of all of my prompts on ChatGPT, whether it's landing pages, regardless of what it's for, is I like to actually say, hey, reiterate back to me the request that I made and give me an overview of what you were thinking and how you interpreted what I just said, and ask me any additional questions that you need to, so we can really get aligned on what the vision is for this graphic. And as you can see, it gave the recap and everything looked great. And then it even asked a couple of additional questions, which I answered. And by the way, if you want these prompts that I came up with and that ChatGPT basically told me to use, I'll actually have this doc linked somewhere down below, probably in a pinned comment. So you don't need to DM me any keyword on Instagram. You can just go right down there and you can get a copy of this completely for free. All that I ask in return is that you leave a thumbs up on this video and you comment below if you found this useful, or if you didn't. I'm always open to feedback. So as you can see here, I actually had all of the images that we use to prompt ChatGPT, and then combined with the actual written prompt right here. And then as you can see, it produced this as a final image, which is pretty damn good. So they did exactly what I asked them to. They have someone drinking out of a glass with a pool in the background, tropical summery vibes, and obviously holding the larger bag filled with the smaller packets or the powder, whatever's actually inside of it. Now, the one interesting thing is that, as you can see, they had this logo from another company, and it wasn't actually even spelled right. So ChatGPT tends to make these mistakes. So I asked them to remove it, and they were like, hey, we can't actually do that because of legal and compliancy issues. So after going back and forth with them and trying to get some alternative variations of this, or see if I can get that logo removed, what I ended up doing is just starting a new thread and a new chat with ChatGPT. And I actually was able to get around that. So if you ever get stuck with something like that where you're making multiple variations, then you can just come over here and essentially just start a new chat or a new project. And a lot of times that will do better when it comes to graphics than if you were to just take kind of an existing thread and say, hey, I want you to make a new visual based on all the stuff that I had up there. Now, that being said, there's so many benefits to actually kind of feeding and fueling ChatGPT. So I'm a huge fan of prompting ChatGPT with tactics from, let's say, breakthrough advertising and these different things when it comes to copy and text. But when it comes to graphics, I find that the closer in proximity that you have the resources and the direct prompt and the other graphics that you're looking to emulate to kind of that end result, the better quality it's going to come out. Otherwise you get people with 5 fingers, and you'll get someone's arm without their torso in it, and it just won't really look that great. All right, so after that I basically went ahead and I added a bit to that prompt, and I asked for it to create a product image with some benefits on it, right? And as you can see, the first couple iterations did not come out very well, right? You got someone again with no torso. Like, this as an image is actually not that bad if someone's head was popping out, or there was a torso somewhere and the text was a little bit more visible. And after a couple of kind of iterations of trying to get it right, I just gave up and I was like, you know what? I don't think we're gonna get this to where we want it to be. So then I found this really cool reference image, because ChatGPT, and same thing with real people, graphic designers, they do a lot better when you can actually give them references to emulate. And to be clear, I still use graphic designers and I value them over AI. And I don't think it's a question of, do we use ChatGPT over a graphic designer or to save money on having to outsource it to a human, but rather how can we encourage our graphic designers to integrate AI into their workflow, or how can we use it as individuals? Because some of this stuff isn't rocket science, and a lot of these images are top level graphic design quality produced. But then again, every now and then you'll get, a creator that has an arm and no body or torso like this. So anyways, I prompted with this image, and this is what we were able to produce, which in my opinion looks awesome, right? It matches the font, kind of the background matches the aesthetic and the vibe of the actual product. And we could just go ahead and kind of blur out the logo up here if we wanted to sell it non-branded, or we would be able to put our own logo for the brand that we're running somewhere on the top or around this as a replacement, if we are not infringing on any copyright or trademarks that a pre-existing brand might have had. Now again, if you want these prompts for the images that I used, the text, this one was actually pretty simple. I just built off the existing prompt that we already had. But what I actually did was I copy and pasted into a new thread, and that just reactivated, and that was able to bypass some of those issues that I was facing with ChatGPT. And then as you can see, this is what the final image produced. So now that you've seen a product with a model and kind of like a good either product photo or like a benefit ad, benefit photo, whatever you want to call it, because that would do great on either a website landing page, throughout the product page, on the main hero images, that would probably crush it as a regular static ad. Now I want to show you where I got a little bit creative and where we can start to think outside of the box relative to what our competitors are using ChatGPT for. And so in this case, I actually prompted it with this image ad, which was kind of a billboard style from Athletic Greens, because it's kind of a similar like powdery supplement product. And what I did was I started the prompt here, but I actually built on top of this, and I say, hey, I want you to basically replicate this style, use some of the benefits that I've already shared with you on what the product does, use the graphics that I've shared, and integrate it into a billboard ad. And I want you to actually have a person kind of taking a picture of the billboard, kind of showing that they're expressing interest in it, right? But this person clearly doesn't care at all. I'd rather someone kind of be stopping and looking at it or taking a picture. And so this is what it actually produced. And I thought that this would be so cool as a product image or as an image ad, right? A static ad, if we were to run it with paid ads on Facebook. Now, obviously there's a couple of things that we could tweak, like the WTF is kind of separated, and there's some kind of repeated benefits over here, but overall, this concept and this design is not half bad. So again, they asked me additional questions. They said, do you want to show a person holding a glass next to it? Now that would probably be unrealistic unless, a company's doing like a really formal product shoot. But I just said, you know what, have a person taking a picture of the billboard. Now I'd probably have to fix the graphic here and make sure that it's correct, because I don't think this looks realistic. And then I told them basically the flavor that we wanted to use, and this is what it produced. And when I did a little bit of further digging, I actually found a website that uses AI images. And so I want to show you this in action, right? This isn't theoretical. These are images that you can bring over into your brand and that other companies are actively using to get ahead. So as you can see, this brand is called Nature's Zempic. So they're kind of advertising it as like Nature's Ozempic, if you didn't pick up on that. Now, I don't want to get into the risk of that compliancy wise on, Facebook and TikTok ads, but clearly they've done a phenomenal job at marketing it. It's one of the top ranking Google listings. They're probably also running ads on TikTok. They're probably also running ads on Facebook if they know what they're doing, right? They have one-time purchases, they have subscriptions. So I'm not going to give you a whole full-length tutorial on how to build a great product page, but I will say that most of these images look like they were designed with AI. So this is kind of on this this base, and you could see that they've basically just changed the logo. They've added a couple of benefits, and you can clearly tell that this is an AI creator that's basically drinking the product. And this looks photoshopped on, but it was actually done by ChatGPT. You can tell that all the colors are on brand with that main most popular peach mango variation. And then you got like an us versus them style image. And they were actually able to produce images that have like accessories and complementary fruits and coloring to the specific variants that they're buying. Again, this was probably made with AI. This is probably legit customer reviews, and it's very, very difficult. And so we can't entirely be dependent on ChatGPT for all of our content, right? Using real life human creators or shipping the product to our house and filming it ourselves, that's still going to be invaluable. But when we lack that initially, this is a great kind of alternative and a great solution, right? So again, just kind of going top down on this product page, really, really good. They have a lot of visuals. They show the ingredients. They have some GIFs, right? Showing that people were actually happy using it, the FAQs. So these are a lot of the same kind of landing page frameworks and principles that we use. And yeah, that's pretty much it, right? That's how you use ChatGPT to come up with awesome graphics for your product pages, your product images, whether it's carousel ads or image ads. There is a multitude of ways that you can use this. And really the only wrong way to use it is to not use it at all. So if you run an e-commerce brand and you sell physical products online and you have to drive traffic to your website to get customers, as everyone does, and you run paid ads like we do, then make sure to implement these prompts, these frameworks, so that you can create superior product images to all of your competitors without even having to ship the product out to creators. So if you want to pick up a copy of this document right here, I'm going to have it linked in the pinned comment below this video. And other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.